everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Valeen Oseh again. If you're seeing me for the first time, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much. On this channel, I share my experiences here as an international student because I believe it is important to help aspiring and current international students by sharing my journey. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn your post notifications bell on so you're the first to get notified whenever I upload my content. Okay, I decided to make this video first of all because I get a lot of questions about funding, scholarships, study abroad questions all the time, but generally tied to funding. Now, studying abroad is, everybody's dream, right? But it comes with like this challenge of finance. And so people most times, or aspiring students, find it really hard to achieve their study abroad dreams, which is why I believe I get asked the question over and over and over again. When it was my time, it practically was also a major challenge for me. But one thing that I decided to do is to, explore other options and share it with you guys today so that you know that you can study in other countries for absolutely. And I want you to be open-minded so that you can understand where I'm coming from and how this can be beneficial to you. So if you're interested in finding out these countries where you can study abroad for free, then keep on watching, okay? So guys, welcome back to my channel. So the countries that I'm going to be discussing today are countries that are based in Europe. So I'll be exploring other countries in my subsequent videos, but today I'm just going to be focused on European countries. All right, so now in Europe we have two categories of students. We have the EU or the EAA students. These students are students who are citizens of any European country or any country that is resident in the European Economic Area. And then we also have the non-European, the non-EU students. These are people that are not citizens of any European country. Somebody like, me, a non-EU student. So if you are from Asia or you are from Africa or you are from anywhere that is not within the EU, then you are a non-EU student. Okay, now in this video I'm going to be discussing the countries. If you're an EU student, this video is going to be helpful to you. If you are a non-EU student, this video is also going to be helpful to you. But before we get into the video, I just want you to know that I have my research paper here to help me because I did a lot of research over the week and I just want something like a script that can help me with my talking points. Okay, so now I'm going to be listing out the countries where EU students can study for free, and on my list I have Finland, Germany, Greece, Denmark, Hungary, France, Norway, Austria, Sweden, Slovenia, Poland, Scotland, Czech Republic, and Spain. So that's over 10 countries we have there, right? That's exciting. And if you're somebody from the that is a non-EU student, I got you covered. So these are countries in the EU where you can study for free. You have Hungary, Poland, Germany, Norway, Greece, Slovenia, France, and Austria. All right, I know I listed a lot of countries there, but I'm going to be talking about each of the countries so that you understand the visa requirements, tuition if there is any, cost of living, application deadlines, everything that you need to know to help you make an informed decision. So I'm going to be talking about Germany and France in this video, and in my subsequent videos I'm going to be talking about other countries as well. So talking about Germany is one of the few countries where you get to study for free, absolutely free, whether you are an EU student or you are a non-EU student. And that's something very exciting because you rarely find this in other countries. If you know that you can study abroad for free, why not explore that option rather than consider a country where you know that you don't even have the finances? That's what I think. So for Germany, these are the key things I'm going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the student visa type, the resident permit versus the extended resident permit, the EU blue card, the settlement permit, the job seeker visa, the resident registration office, the DAD, which is a German academic exchange service. We're also going to discuss that like everything that you need to know. Okay, so now talking about tuition in Germany, tuition is absolutely free for anyone. I mean, if you are from the EU, tuition is free for you. If you are a non-EU student as well, tuition is free for you. You don't pay anything. The only thing that you get to pay is an administrative fee or a semester fee, and that semester fee goes for about 300 to 400 euros. So that's all you have to pay, right? And that semester fee also covers your public transport ticket, which means transportation is absolutely free in Germany. So you get to enjoy that as a perk. But as an international student, you need a visa to be able to find your way in Germany. But if you're someone like an EU student, you don't need a visa. Your identification card is just okay for you. You can just find your way in Germany and you'll be fine. But that is not applicable to an international student. Now, there are 3 kinds of visa that goes on in Germany. So you have the student applicant visa, you have your student visa, and then you have your language course visa. The language course visa is for somebody who's just going to Germany to maybe learn German, right? For probably 6 months or sometimes even a year. So that's the visa that you'll be requiring. But if you're somebody who you've applied to a German university but you haven't received any offer yet, but you still want to maybe go to Germany to check out how the schools are, just figure out things for yourself and decide if this is actually what you want, then the visa that is applicable to you is the student application visa. But mind you, you can actually transfer your student applicant visa to your student visa. That's after you have been offered an admission in a German university. So the last category of visa that operates in Germany is the student visa. Now, this student visa is for those people that have received an admission offer in a German university. So that is the visa you need. And you have to apply for this visa in your home country at the German embassy in your home country. So if you're a Nigerian, there should be a German embassy in Nigeria where you can go apply for your visa. But one thing that you must understand is this: even if you've not gotten an admission offer from a German university, it is advised that you apply for your visa at least 3 months before your arrival date, because it takes time for them to give you an approval. And so if you wait that long, it will be very disastrous. I mean, what if you cannot meet up with your arrival date or your start date in your chosen school or your chosen major or things like that? So my advice to you is to ensure that you apply at least 3 months before your arrival date in Germany. Okay, so there's something else that you need to understand, that if you're going to be in Germany for over 90 days, so if you're going there for a longer duration of study, you're not going for a short course, which is like the language course, then you need to apply for your residence permit. Now, that residence permit has to be applied for within 3 months upon arrival. However, you need to ensure that you register with the RRO, which is the Residence Registration Office. So when you arrive Germany, it gives you time, because the student visa is actually for 3 months. So that visa enables you to settle in for the first few months, find your way, navigate yourself, and maybe get accommodation, because you need to add that address, register your address at the registration office or the foreign registration office. So you need your address, so you need to find an accommodation. Within the first 2 weeks, you have to have ensured that you've registered with the RRO, which I just talked about, right? But again, you need to get your resident permit. Now, that resident permit is for a year or 2, but it is actually renewable. You can extend it upon graduation. I'm going to talk about that much later in this video. Remember, I said I'm going to talk about the differences between your resident permit and an extended resident permit. So we'll talk more about that much later in the video. Now, how much does it cost for a student visa application? A student visa application costs 75 euros. Yes, it costs 75 euros. Now, how much does the residence permit cost? The residence permit upon arrival costs 100 euros, but remember I said that you have to extend it, so it has another additional fee. upon renewal. So we'll talk about that as well during the course of the video, much later. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the application deadline for German universities. So before we even begin, there's something I need to tell you. There are over 300 public universities in Germany, and then there are more than 1,000 study programs. And there are roughly 100 private universities in Germany. That's absolutely amazing. So it means that it's definitely something that can suit your major or your interest or something in Germany, with such number of schools and such number of programs available to you. But again, you need to understand when application starts in Germany, when is the right time for you to apply and things like that. So if you, for a winter start date, the application deadline is usually July 15th. That's if for somebody that wants to start during winter, and winter there starts September, October. So if you want to start off your program in September or October, then the application deadline is July 15th. So ensure that you apply early so that you can meet up with the deadline and everything will be fine. But if you're somebody who wants to start during the summer for them is March, April, that period, then the deadline is January 15th. So ensure as well that you apply early before the deadline so that you can meet up with everything, and you can get your visa sorted and start your program immediately. So the next thing that we have to talk about, which is very interesting, and I believe everybody wants to know, what is the cost of living? How is it like? Yes, tuition is free, but how can I survive? How much can I spend on a monthly basis in Germany? I have the answers to that question. Now, the average cost of living in Germany is around 850 euros per month. And this covers your rent, your food, your health insurance, your telephone, your internet, your study materials, and maybe leisure. But I believe it depends on your spending power, and it's just individualistic. Like, some people might spend more, some might even try to bring that amount down. So it is all up to you. All right. But again, if you're living in larger cities in Germany, such as Frankfurt, Munich, is it Munich or Munich? Please let me know in the comments. Or Hamburg, it might cost you a lot more. I mean, it just makes sense that larger cities the cost of living would be a lot higher. But the choice is yours, But on the average, 850 euros is all you need. Now, what about working? Can I work in Germany as an international student or as an EU student? Yes, both categories of students can work in Germany, while studying. Now, if you're a non-EU student, you can work for 120 full days or 240 half days in a year. Now, what that means is that you can work 20 hours a week during your program. So during the semester, you can work 20 hours a week. But if you are an EU student, you can also work 20 hours a week. You can work more technically, but again, from my research, I saw that it might impact your record negatively. So you don't want that to happen. So just figure out what is best for you and do that all the time. All right. Then one thing that I also found out from my research is that if you get positions such as a research assistant, a student assistant, or even during a mandatory internship, it does not count towards the number of days that you are supposed to work. Does that make sense? So let's say you are supposed to work 120 full days for the whole year, and you're an SA or an RA, or you are undertaking a mandatory internship. It doesn't count towards the number of days that you're supposed to work. But also you need to let the school know that you got such a job offer. So the next thing we have to talk about is, yes, can I work after graduation? I know it's okay, Valeen, you said that I can work while I'm studying, but I want to stay back. I want to work. What is it like? The good news is you can actually work after you graduate, whether you are a non-EU student or you're an EU student. Now, for an EU student, you're not supposed to obtain a work permit because, you're an EU student. But if you're an international student, it is mandatory that you get a resident permit. Remember when I talked about the extended resident permit? This is where it is applicable. You need to get an extended resident permit, which allows you to live and work in Germany after graduation. Now that resident permit, which has been extended, is for a period of 18 months, and during that 18 months period you can actually work as much as you want. You can do any kind of job, whether it is related to your field or not, just to support yourself until you find the right job for you. So the moment you find the right job for you, the thing you're supposed to do is to apply for an EU blue card. I said I was going to talk about this when I started the video. So what is an EU blue card? An EU blue card is a card that enables you to again live and work in Germany, and it is only going to be issued to you when you have received a job that has at least 1 year contract in it. So if you have a job that is like 6 months, they will not issue you an EU blue card. But if you have a job that is at least 1 year contract, they will give you the EU blue card. But if you have something like maybe 2 years, 3 years, that is absolutely fine, but at least 1 year. Now the EU blue card is supposed to be for a period of 4 years, but if you have a job for a 1 year contract, they will give you an EU blue card that is 1 year. So if you have 2 years job, they'll give you an EU blue card that is 2 years. So depending on the duration of the job offer you get, that is the same duration that the EU blue card would be. Does that make sense? It's just like when I was coming to the USA, my master's program was for 2 years and my visa was for 2 years. So it just makes sense that when you get a job for like 1 year, they'll give you that blue card for that the same duration. Does that make sense? Okay, so now another thing is, if you have lived in Germany for 33 months upon the time that the EU blue card was issued to you, then you can absolutely apply for a settlement permit. Now the settlement permit is different from the EU blue card, but that 33 months can be reduced to 21 months if you have a level B1 German proficiency score. So if you're good with your German language, then in 21 months after you've been issued your EU blue card, and after you've been living in Germany, you can apply for your settlement permit. Now the settlement permit is the one that allows you to live there, work there, and even invite your family over to join you in Germany. And after a period of 8 years, I think you can now proceed to apply for citizenship. So that's the pathway to like becoming a citizen in Germany. Okay, so if you're somebody who's wondering, what if I graduate and I go back to my home country, can I still work in Germany? This is also amazing because from my research, it shows that you can work in Germany even when you go back to your home country. They'll issue you a different visa. Now the visa they will issue you is the job seeker visa. This job seeker visa is totally different from the extended permanent resident permit that you will be given upon graduation. Now the difference is this: the job seeker visa is for 6 months, which allows you to come to Germany to find a job. But during the duration of that 6 months, you cannot do any work. You cannot try to find anything to support yourself. But with the extended resident permit, you can absolutely do any kind of job to support yourself until you find the job that suits you. And again, the duration is 18 months versus the job seeker visa, which is for 6 months. So that's what it is. And I hope you understand everything that is involved. If you find it confusing in any way, just go over the video again and ask all of your questions in the comments down below. And if this video has been helpful so far, please give us a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is just a general pros and cons about studying in Germany. Now in Germany, it is tuition free, so that's one thing that's absolutely amazing. And you can work in Germany upon graduation. You can stay back, and I even talked about the pathway to becoming a citizen as well. And another advantage is that even when you decide to go back to your home country, you can still even come back to Germany to work. Isn't that amazing? Now again, you have free public transportation. that is also amazing. And then you have a lot of English programs that you can do. If you're someone that doesn't really have maybe basic knowledge of German language, then that will also be helpful to you. But my advice would be that you in some way try to learn German, because it will help you, to get a job, not just get a job, but even to like integrate yourself with the locals and just blend into the system and find your way around, whatever is going on. Just try to learn if you can. It's just important. I feel it gives you an edge. But the only disadvantage is that, like I said, you have to learn German. So that's it for Germany. And I think I'll just go over to talk about France. Now, the difference between France and Germany is that for Germany, it's tuition free, but for France, you have to pay tuition. In 2019, the French government started to collect tuition from international students and even from EU students as well. So it was a bit of a struggle for international students and even for people, but after a while it's been their decision. But one good thing about the French universities is that there are a lot of scholarship opportunities for internationals and for anyone, because they understand that since they are charging higher tuition or even collecting tuition at all, they don't also want to reduce the number of internationals or students coming into France to study. Okay, so it's like they're trying to balance it. You pay tuition, but then you have so many scholarships for you. So you just have to find out which one works best for you. If you need me to make a video about how to find scholarships in France, also let me know in the comments down below. So let's talk about the tuition in France. But I forgot to mention that in Germany you can also apply for scholarships, and there's a website that is very good with that. That's the DAAD website. I'm going to link all of the websites I use for my research in the description, so please check them out and do proper research for yourself and decide which country suits you best. So that website deals with everything scholarship and even general information in case you're confused with anything. That's the website to go to. So back to France. The tuition for non-EU students is 3,000 euros for bachelors for a year. And then if you are going for your master's program there, the tuition is about 4,000 euros. But if you're going for your PhD, the tuition is about 400 euros per year. That's quite affordable. So it's a lot more with your bachelor's and your master's program. So if you're an EU student, your tuition for a bachelor's degree for a year is about 200 euros. And then for your master's degree, it's about 250 euros. And for a PhD, it's about 400. So it's pretty much the same thing for internationals and for EU students when you're going for your PhD. So that's about 400 euros versus your master's and your bachelor's degree, where you can see like it's over times 10 or times 5 of the actual money. But remember that this is only applicable to public schools. So for private schools, they might charge a higher tuition. It is also the same thing with German schools. Now, even though German public universities are free, private universities in Germany might decide to charge tuition based on whatever. Like they can just use their discretion to charge you anything, but nothing out of the ordinary. So just have that in mind. So what are the application deadlines for France? So the application deadlines are between February and April for most universities in France. So my advice would be that at least ensure 6 months before, start your application process so that you can apply for your visa just in case and things like that. Just give yourself, limit the pressure. Just be on that space where that you have so much time to apply and you can get your visa easily and prepare, right? So now let's talk about visa. Do you need a visa to study in France? If you're an EU student, you don't need a visa. I mean, it just answers that. But if you're an international student, by that a non-EU student, you require a visa for you to be able to enter France, and the visa you need is the VLS TS visa. I'm going to add that on the screen because I don't know what this is. It is called the étudiant, like, I don't know, that's French. I don't know. So the visa allows you to work up to 20 hours a week, and you can travel freely within Europe, within the Schengen area. And I mean, if you don't have a European passport, that is like an added advantage to you as well. You can get this visa within your embassy in your home country, so all you have to do is to just apply. Now the VLS-TS visa application costs about 100 euros. Wow. Upon arrival, you need to validate the visa. So now I think with European schools, what they do is that they'll give you a visa for a limited duration, and then when you get to the country, you have to validate the visa, or you either reapply for something else. For Germany, you have to apply for your resident permit. In France, you have to validate the visa that they've given to you. That's not the case for the USA, right? Because once you're given a visa, you don't have to do anything. That's all you need until you graduate, and then you're placed on OPT. So upon arrival, you need to validate the visa, and the VLS-TS validation fee costs 60 euros as well, and you must do this within the first 3 months of your arrival in France. So now let's talk about the cost of living in France. France is a bit more pricey, more expensive than Germany. So the average cost of living in France is around 850 to 1,000 euros in a month for smaller cities. So if you're going to live in bigger cities like Paris, because I know that's where you want to go to, but it comes with this whole disadvantage. So the average cost of living in France in larger cities like Paris is around 1,250 euros to 1,400 euros. I'm not used to this 1,400 thing that they do here in the US. I'm still Nigerian. So that's pretty much it. But I believe that everything has to do with like your spending ability, who you are as an individual. If you are the person that live extravagantly, you might end up spending more. But if you're more of the minimalistic person, then you can even bring it down a little bit. So can you work in France as an international student or even as an EU student? Absolutely yes. All students are allowed to work part-time in France, and even upon graduation you can work in France. And something that I found really exciting is that you can work for as long as you want. You can stay for as long as you want and work for as long as you want upon graduation. Isn't that amazing? I mean, like, how can I be able to do that in the US? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe I should have gone to France, but we're good. So let's just talk about the pros and the cons here. The good thing about studying in France is that they offer more scholarships. Yes, you have to pay tuition, but again, they have more scholarships to sort of balance it out. Do you understand what I mean? Then the negative side to studying in France is that, one, you pay tuition. Two, if you're an international student, you pay a higher tuition compared to EU students. For instance, an EU student pays about 250 to 350 euros for a bachelor's or master's degree, whereas an international student is paying 3,000 to 4,000 euros for a bachelor's or master's degree. The only thing that they pay, together like the same amount is for a PhD program. So that's why, that's the downside to studying in France. But other than that, it is still much more, affordable compared to schools here in the USA or some schools in Canada and things like that. So this is the end of this video. I hope this video was helpful to you. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about other countries as well and answering a lot of questions and just exploring these countries so that you know where you can study for free and how you can go about studying in those countries, what is applicable, can you work, can you not work, and things like that. So if you love this video and you want me to make more of this video, let me know in the comments down below. And until then, I'll see you guys in my next video, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a huge thumbs up, and that'll be it. So guys, until next time, I remain my humble self, Valeen Oseh, and I pledge to never give up, and I hope that you do the same. Bye, guys.